last year. Max Munton, a formidable short circuit rider as well, winning the championship 2 years ago, as well as maybe even 3 now. It's been quite some time. Adrian Solomon, the 300s champion from 2024, also stepping up to the 650 class. Abigail Bosson, also a fierce contender. Abigail, an incredibly talented young lady racing here at Killarney. She's had the opportunity to go race in Spain at Jerez, as well as at Imola in San Marino, on very, very similar bikes to what she used to be riding, the Yamaha R3, now stepping up to the top class in this series, the Super Twin Cup 650.
And just touching on those different classes, of course, the STC 650s, that's your twin-cylinder 4-stroke bike. So that's, you know, things like your Kawasaki Ninja 650, your R7 Yamaha, and your Suzuki SV 650. And then with the Super Sport 300s, that's going to be like your KTM RC 390. I think we've got one of them on track just now, and a couple of Kawasaki Ninja 400s. But the Yamaha R3 also eligible for that class as well. But bikes getting ready then for the first grid start of the year here, Jordan. And again, this is where the nerves start to build. This is where all your preparation comes in. And for a lot of these riders, this is where fun time begins as well.
Yep, besides the nerves, everyone has nerves, but it's always the fun factor and the adrenaline that will forever outweigh any fear that you can't justify being away from the circuit like we are upstairs. Watching it from the top is quite literally the complete opposite to what it feels like down on the circuit. We've got James Late, as well as Bradley Musto and Cody Redlingace, that are in the Super Sport 300s class. James Late incredibly quick on that Kawasaki 400. Bradley Musto on his KTM 390, also very fierce on that 888 Motorcycles number 7. And Cody Redlingace, of course, the lady racer, also very quick on the 87. As the lights go on, we wait for them. There they go on, they're off, and underway we go for the first race of the season. Down towards Block Coin Corner we go.
Here we go then. It's a great start for Slade van Niekerk, the number 96, straight slots the bike into the lead, into turn 1 as they turn through that left-hander. Pretty much single file as they make their way through. We've got a couple of challenges further down the field. I think that's actually James Light making a move on Franco Flash as well as we come up to turn 2 then. And again, a lot of this just calming themselves down, getting themselves through these early couple of corners here and take the opportunities when they can.
Absolutely. They always say you can't win a race in the first corner, but it sure as hell can help you on the first and opening lap. As down into Dam's Dip we go. We see Slade pulling away from Max Munton and Adrian Solomon at the moment. Abigail Bosson being on the case as we watch the rest of the field come through. Down through Dam's we go. James Late and Bradley Musto fighting it out already in the Super Sport 300s class as they go down towards the Sarl sweep now and down the Killarney back straight. But look at that, 2nd, 3rd and 4th all in a line. Slipstream City down towards the final corner for the first lap.
3 wide almost as they come into Cape Town corner for the first time of asking, down into turn 5. They roll the bikes in using the banking to pull themselves through. They'll then turn themselves up and off we go.
If we just look to the screen now and look at Slade van Niekerk pulling away already, and this battle between Max Munton and Abigail Bosson and Adrian Solomon, 3 wide as they cross the line down into Block Coin Corner. They go up the inside, goes Abigail Bosson on the 2 male counterparts of hers as Max Munton now sits on her case on the back wheel ahead of Adrian Solomon on that pool kick number 4 as they go out, and we watch the camera angle as they fly on down into the distance being Castro Corner, turn number 2, and Max Munton moves up into 2nd once again.
Slade van Niekerk is absolutely grinning from ear to ear at this, because with those 3 of Max Munton, Abigail Bosson and Adrian Solomon fighting it out, he can just check out into the distance here as we see the bikes rolling through into turn 3 here. Again, this is what you want if you're Van Niekerk. You want the 3 behind you fighting away. You can just check out, do your own race, and then that's it.
Yep, to Slade at the minute, clean air. Battling behind, no stress of any sort. He is up and away as we watch down towards what was Pertamina Fostron, Cape Town Corner it is called, and it has been called for the longest time. As you see Table Mountain in the background, well, amongst the trees and the clouds. Exiting out of the final corner they go. It's still Max Munton that has Abigail Bosson on his case. Adrian Solomon opening up that gap ever so slightly, but we'll run through the order as they come. Van Niekerk from Munton, Bosson, Solomon. Then Lance Jonas back on the bike once again. He is just ahead of Hilton Redlinghuis on the 34. That's 650 for 87 Racing, with his daughter racing in the 300 as well as we go through into block coin once again.
Yep, we're just watching. That's the number 34 there of Hilton Redlinghuis, who is making his way through turn 1 just now. Then that's down in 6th position as well. As you can see, the bike's heading through. Just an update as well on the 300s as well. That's James Lloyd still in the lead of that class, but here we go. And again, you can see just how intense this battle is. We've got, about 6 laps left to go here, and all of these little battles just bubbling away in the background, Jordan.
Absolutely, and it happens all the time. We can only watch one thing at a time, but there's so much going on around the circuit. As we see Lance Jonas very closely getting seared up behind him is Hilton Redlinghuis. As they go down the Killarney straight, once again we jump back to the lead. Slade Funnikak on that Project 60 SA ZX10. I'm so used to calling it a ZX10. That is the ER6 that he exits out of the final corner. He checks over his shoulder, and look how far the 3 are behind him.
Oh my goodness, that is an absolute shadow if ever I saw one, from Abigail Bosson as they're about to come through the main straight shortly. But that is Adrian Solomon, Lance Jonas in the background as well. In fact, Bosson goes across the line in 2nd place.
Yep, but Munton jumps back into that 2nd spot once again under the brakes. So now this is a fierce battle between these two as we look back to Jonas and Redlinghuis as well, going through block coin corner just behind them. A name that we haven't heard in quite some time, and good history behind it. The man from the train station, fitness guru, training expert, Franco Flach, after an accident in 2023 in Castro Corner turn number 2, put him out of racing for quite some time, and in recovery, he is back once again on that 650. And he's doing a mighty fine job as we look back to the lead. Slade Funnikak leaning over to the right-hand side, getting his full body weight over, as are the 3 coming towards our picture. And it is still Munton from Bosson from Solomon in your top 4.
Yeah, this is just an awesome race right now. The thing is with Bosson on that Project 60 South Africa Kawasaki ER650 looking so tight on that bike right now. We go down into the last couple of corners then. And again, there's just nothing to pick between them right now. As with 5 laps left to go, you almost think it's going to have to be, Jordan, a last lap dash, maybe coming out of that final corner. But here we go again then, side by side as they come across the line. It's the 14 and the 51. Bosson comes across the timing line first. There in 4th and 5th is Solomon and Jonas. And then 6th position, just going to be coming in shot in a couple of seconds. That is still going to be Hilton Redlinghuis.
But up the inside goes Hilton Redlinghuis to take that spot away from the chairman of the WMC, Lance Jonas. He takes that away up the inside like something or another inside into turn number 1.
That's a 10-second penalty, surely, from the...
As we go down towards Castro in the background, we see Slade Funnikak come towards us, and it's this battle as well for 2nd spot. A wide line from Max Munton, tucking up the inside, cutting the nose off Abigail Bosson that sits in that 3rd spot still, and the gap to the leader still opens up even more so, as well as the gap behind to Adrian Solomon in that 4th spot, as they lean through the double apex right-hander of Sorrel Sweep and down the Killarney back straight once again, with coming up on 3 laps to go.
As they come down that Killarney back straight there, down towards Cape Town Corner here, you can see them still side by side, but they're lapping just 3/10 slower than the leader, so the pace is incredible from Bosson and Munton right now. Unfortunately, Adrian Solomon's kind of been left and dropped off of this little fight here, but look at the fighting going on. Arm gestures, waving, anything. I think that Bosson's going to need to get a fly swatter out there to keep Abigail Bosson at bay there.
Like a horse in the whip, trying to get her to just push him that extra little bit further. But also, think about this. Adrian Solomon just seems to be too far away from those 2 ahead to get any sort of slipstream whatsoever, and that's what's keeping him at bay so far behind. But now we look, Hilton Redlinghuis and Lance Jonas, a good gap between them now as well, but still very close competition. As there goes Franco Flach on the number 5 in 7th spot overall, 16 seconds behind that 6th spot place man of Lance Jonas. Then we look to the 300s class, and currently it sits James Slade ahead of Alme Mossad in the 650s, and Bradley Musto trying to catch up to the current Supersport 300 leader, that is James Late.
Yeah, good to check in with them. But I also noticed last lap there, Slade van Niekerk doing a 1:20.358, fastest lap of the race, and a second clear of everybody else as we come down the Killarney Straight down towards Cape Town Corner with just 3 laps left to go here. And another move up the inside. That was very, very late on the brakes there, Jordan. And it is a bit of a tactic, isn't it? Just sort of late on the brakes, hold the bike up, but again, you lose so much speed coming out of that corner.
So there we see Slade van Niekerk now making his way past the first back marker, that being Cody Redlingace on the 87. Then comes Max Munton and Abigail Bosson. The gap between them maybe a bike lengths as they break themselves up between the two coming into turn number 1, block point corner. Now Max and Abby need to get past Cody Redlingace. Around the outside goes Max, and he makes it clean towards the rumble strips, and Abigail Boston will do the same down the Joubert Straight. As well, Adrian Solomon, who you see in the background, is still quite some hefty distance behind second and third positions.
I was about to say that's the furthest apart they've been all through this race there, half a second, and possibly going to be extending up a little more as your race leader then goes down through 3 and 4, coming up to Sarel Sweep. And again, with them coming out of there, Van Niekerk now has a gap of nearly 3 seconds over Max Munton and Abigail Bosson. They are just going toe-to-toe right now.
But look at this as well. After having to make their way around Cody Redlingace, we look to those two, second and third, Munton and Bosson, for Sunscan and Project 60 respectively. The gap has opened up between those two as well. We'll wait until they cross the line, because at the moment on our screens it says 0.444, which is 0.04 of a second, but it looks maybe just more than half a second between the two at the moment. This is the biggest gap we've seen between them since the start of the race. There's Adrian Solomon on that Pool King number 4, also just a little bit further behind than anything else, with a couple more guys coming around in the final corner there. Down towards Block Point Corner we go, and this is, David, the final lap. What
a final lap this is going to be, because Boston, you get the feeling, is just hunting, trying to get that gap right back down there. It was 0.4 of a second, but again, still so very, very close between the two of them. However, your race leader, Slade van Niekerk, has absolutely checked out of it. He is coming through into 4 just now. He'll be going through the Sarel Sweep onto the Killarney Straight for the final time, Jordan. What a masterclass from the 96.
Absolutely. His name is Wild Child, and he hasn't done anything quite wild at the minute. It's a little bit less wild than a 1000cc on the Super Twin Cup 650s, as there he trails himself down towards the last corner. But that's another thing I could sort of say. Jokes aside, but with a track all on his own, all to himself, you can say, as the kids say nowadays, he's quite locked in.
Oh, he absolutely is. Last lap round was a 1:20.5, still 0.7 of a second faster than anybody else on the circuit. It has been dominance personified from Slade van Niekerk as he takes the first race of 2026 for the Pirelli STC 650s. The 96 crossed the line, second place for Max Munton, the number 14 from Abigail Bosson in third position. Adrian Solomon finishes in 4th. It's going to be Hilton Redlinghuis in 5th position in that number 34. And then Lance Jonas, our chairman, is going to be just behind. What a battle that was in 6th position.
As we watch for the rest of the field to come through, I'll bring up something in just a moment. There comes Cody Redlingace, 3rd spot in the 300s class. But look at our timing screen. David Christie, a purple on the final lap for Slade van Niekerk. He's done a 20.0, almost into the 19s in race pace, as the train station man himself, Franco Flach, off the distance a little bit to the rest of the field. I know you must be quite tired after his first race back here at Killarney in what is almost 3 years. As we watch the rest of the field come through, this is the 300s class still, and it will be Almay Mostert that gets past James Late in the 650s. James Late wins the 300s class on that Kawasaki 400 at the line, ahead of Bradley Musto on the KTM RC390 for AAA motorcycles. And just like that, we end the first 2-wheel race of the day.
Wow, wow, wow. What a race that was. And again, this gives more plans for everyone, because now they know they need to get in front of Slade for the next race here. That's what's going to have to happen if anything's going to come of that. The other thing with it is that story you were telling me about Franco Flack in that